Hey guys, DPG here, David Patrick Green, with another video in this series on the rules of acting. Before we get to that, as always, I'm going to please ask you to like the video if you like it. Subscribe to my channel so you get more videos like this that will actually not only change your acting life, but your entire life. And please share this with your fellow actors, or frankly, anyone who needs a leg up in life, because everything I talk about is completely universal and it can be used by anyone trying to do anything. Okay, guys? So let's get on to, I guess this is maybe rule number 2. I'm probably going to forget what number I'm at, so I know that I'm doing 2 because I just did 1. But number 2, the question is, the rule is, that a lot of people think is that I cannot submit myself for projects if I don't have an agent. So that's the rule. Okay, well, here's how I'm going to dispel that rule. What do you think is more important to producers or directors, and frankly, casting directors themselves? That you, some person they don't even know, has an agent, or that they find the right person for the part that they are trying to cast? I'll give you about a second and a half to think about that. Well, what's your answer? Hopefully you came up with the obvious answer, in that it's way more important that they find the right person for the part than whether you, some stranger, has an agent or not. So explain to me, David, why it is they impose all of these rules on us. Well, because if you ask somebody to tell you what to do, they're going to tell you what to do, not necessarily to benefit you, if they're not like your uncle or father or somebody like that. But if you ask somebody in the business that you want to work with how to do something, they're going to tell you what to do to make their life better and easier, which doesn't necessarily and often is in conflict with you making your life better and easier. And this is one of those examples. It's much easier for casting directors to have this sort of system set up where they don't have to deal with actors directly, okay? Agents are kind of trusted. They've invested a certain amount of money in a business, and most agents are terrified of getting blacklisted by casting directors or anybody else for that matter. So they're going to behave themselves. They're going to follow the rules. They're going to submit only the right actors when a project is listed on the casting websites. They follow the rules. And that works for them because, well, it doesn't really work for them, but they do it because they were told to, because they asked, how do you want me to do this? I want you to do it this way. Okay, I'll do it that way. But they could actually do a lot better if they stopped following the rules. But I'm going to tell you, as an actor, you cannot follow these rules and expect to become successful. Even if you're quite talented, there's very little chance that anyone's going to find out you're talented if you follow these rules too closely. So, what can you do if you don't have an agent? Well, you just need to get creative, right? How do you get the breakdowns? You don't necessarily have to have the breakdowns. You need to have relationships with people who will think of you when a role comes up and they will call on you. Or you can ask a friend who's like you to submit you, or not to submit you, but to tell you about parts they're reading for. And if it's right for you, then you just need to either submit directly to casting themselves, which just means you got to find their contact info, and most of them are on some form of social media. Or you can contact the Casting Society of America and say, hi, do you have contact information for this casting director, or that casting director? Everybody needs to have their information out there so that people in the business can reach them, and you are a person in the business. So if you just call them up and say, hi, I'm submitting for this, they may say, well, you need to have your agent submit you, and just say, yeah, I don't have an agent, but I'm really right for this part, and I'm going to do great. Then Well, they'll either say yes or they'll say no, but obviously, if you don't have an agent, then you have to do something. So it doesn't really matter what they say, but the way to get them to say yes is to act very confidently, to not wonder if you're going to be, crossing any lines or if you're going to get yourself in trouble. There isn't any trouble. Some people will get upset when somebody boldly says, I'd like to read up for this part, but for the most part, they want to fill the role. That's the important thing. They just don't want to deal with crazy actors who are going to, waste them a lot of time. So don't waste their time. Get to the point right away and just say, listen, I want to submit for this. Where do I send it? That's all you need to know. And 9 times out of 10, and if they say, oh, we don't really do that, say, oh, that's funny. I was just talking to ABC, who's producing the show, and they told me to call you. Well, as soon as you mention the producers, they're going to go, oh, okay. They're not going to dig too far into it. They're going to say, oh, okay, sure. Here, send the link to this email, or send us the video via this service or whatever. But there aren't any rules that you need an agent. There's no law that says you need an agent. You can do everything yourself if you want. And listen, when you don't know anyone, people are going to be resistant, just like everybody is resistant to strangers, just like you're resistant to strangers. But everybody was a stranger to you at some point until they weren't. So you just have to put your foot forward and go hi. And even if it doesn't go great, they don't want to marry you on the first date, that's okay. You're going to, the second time you talk to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, I think I remember you, David. Yes, you do. And if you let them know you're not going anywhere and you give them good material, they'll be totally cool with you not having an agent. In fact, the first 2 jobs I had, which were both on top 10 TV shows, I didn't have an agent. I didn't even use a headshot. I literally got the audition through somebody I had met by chance, and I happened to have the skills. So you don't want to be doing this stuff if you haven't confirmed you have decent skills. You don't want to just send them garbage, because then you will be wasting their time. But if you have confidence in your skills because you've done some training, then there's absolutely no rule that you have to have an agent, okay? There are no rules whatsoever, especially in the entertainment business. There are in accounting. You have to follow the accounting rules. But entertainment is very, very flexible. They never know how things are going to go. And so when you insert yourself into the mix because you got something of value and you understand that what you have would be a benefit to them, they're so happy to hear from you, okay? So it all starts with you. You've got to be confident and understand the value you bring, and be judicious with when to share your value. You don't want to just shout it from the rooftops, I'm an actor, come and get me. No, you got to be judicious, be careful, so you're giving it at the right time to the right people. But if you do that, oh my gosh, they'll be so happy to hear from you, and then they will start calling on you, okay? So if you liked this, I hope this was helpful. But if it generates any questions in your mind, put them in the comment section below. And if you've got ideas for other videos, put those in the comment section below as well. And if you want to work with someone who will change your life, I can guarantee it. If you listen and try some of my advice, it will completely change your life, as it's changed many of my clients' lives. Send me an email to dpg@davidpatrickgreen.com, and we'll see if there's something I can do for you. All right, I will talk to you soon. Have a great one.